Hey, my fellow anglers and friends. Welcome back to the channel. It's your fishing buddy here with another vital forecast to help you land those beauties. Today, we're diving deep into the conditions for a very specific day, the 7th of December 2025. Now, why is this day so special? Well, according to our data, it's shaping up to be a day of subtle shifts, where the observant and prepared angler will have a definite edge. We're looking at a morning with a damp kiss of rain, transitioning into some brighter, drier spells. This kind of change can often stir things up, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to expect and how to make the most of it, so stick around. All right, let's talk team tactics for a few of our winter warriors here in Ireland. For the 7th of December, I've got my eye on pike, perch and roach. These are your best bets when the waters get chilly, and understanding their winter habits is key. First up, pike. These toothy predators are real champions of the cold, and they'll be active. Where to find them, you ask? Look for them hugging those deeper drop-offs, the edges of submerged weed beds, and any structure like fallen trees or old snags. With the water temperature hovering around 5 to 10 degrees Celsius in our inland waters, pike will be conserving energy, but still feeding opportunistically. They're not chasing vigorously, so slow, deliberate presentations are key. For tackle, a medium-heavy spinning rod with a good quality bait casting reel or a robust fixed spool reel is ideal. My go-to lures for this time of year are larger soft plastics, say 5 to 8 inches, slowly retrieved along the bottom or over structure. Also, dead baits, either ledgered or fished under a float in deeper pockets, can be incredibly effective. Remember, friends, a slow retrieve and patience will outfish speed almost every time. Next, let's talk about those feisty whole perch. In December, perch tend to shoal up, often in deeper water, so finding one usually means finding a few. Concentrate your efforts around deeper holes in rivers close to submerged features and drop-offs in lakes. They love those slightly warmer, more stable pockets of water. For gear, a light or ultralight spinning rod, or even a sensitive waggler or feeder setup will work wonders. Small jig heads, micro jigs, and tiny drop shot rigs with soft plastic grubs around 1 to 2 inches are fantastic. Alternatively, if you're a bait angler, a simple paternoster rig with a small worm or a maggot feeder can be deadly. Keep your bait small, your presentation subtle, and don't be afraid to try different depths in the same spot until you find where they're holding. And for our beloved roach, these silver beauties are often overlooked in winter, but they offer fantastic sport. They'll also be grouped up in deeper, slower-moving sections of rivers, or on the deeper flats and near drop-offs in lakes. The key here is consistent, careful ground baiting to draw them in and hold them. A light pole or a delicate waggler rod is perfect. Use fine lines, usually 2 to 3 pound breaking strain, and small hooks, size 16 to 20. For bait, single or double maggot, pinkies, or a small piece of bread punch are unbeatable. The colder water means they're not feeding aggressively, so a tiny bait presented perfectly will often tempt them when heavier presentations fail. Focus on showing them a small, irresistible offering. Now, let's break down the conditions that are shaping this forecast. The weather for the 7th of December 2025 looks to be quite typical for early winter in Ireland, but with some interesting nuances. We're expecting air temperatures to range from a low of about 3 to 7 degrees Celsius overnight, rising to a high of 9 to 12 degrees Celsius during the day. That's relatively mild for December, which is always a bonus. We'll start with some light rain and drizzle in the morning, around 1 to 5 millimeters, which should clear up by the afternoon, giving way to some welcome, sunny intervals. Wind will be moderate, coming from the southeast initially, then shifting to the southwest, generally around 30 kilometers per hour. We're also seeing signs of persistent Atlantic low-pressure systems influencing our weather, which often means changeable conditions and can sometimes make fish a bit more wary due to fluctuating pressure. However, these aren't extreme drops, so the fish should be adaptable. Water temperatures in the sea around Dublin are currently hovering around 10 degrees Celsius, and our inland rivers and lakes will be colder, likely in the 5 to 10 degrees Celsius range. This cold water slows down the metabolism of most fish, making them less inclined to chase fast-moving baits. They'll seek out the warmest, most stable water they can find, which usually means deeper areas or sheltered spots. Understanding this helps you predict their holding patterns and adjust your presentation. And what about the moon, my friends? On the 7th of December 2025, we'll be under a waning gibbous moon with about 90% illumination. This means we're a couple of days past the full moon. Many old-school anglers, myself included, have a soft spot for moon phases. While the science is always cut and dry, popular belief suggests that the fishing can be a bit slower right after a full moon, as the fish might have fed heavily during the bright nights. However, this waning period can also see fish settling into a more consistent feeding pattern after the initial full moon activity. So, while it might not be a red-hot bite, it can still be productive for those who are patient and fish smart. Considering all these factors, the mild but damp start, clearing skies, moderate winds, stable but cold water temperatures, and the waning gibbous moon, I'm going to give our overall fishing forecast for the 7th of December 2025 a rating of deep moderate to good. The conditions aren't perfect, but they are certainly favorable for success if you adapt your approach. The slight rain and pressure changes might make the fish a little cautious initially, but the clearing weather and mild temperatures later in the day offer a real window of opportunity, especially for our predatory species like pike and perch, and for methodical coarse anglers targeting roach. Don't let the early damp conditions deter you. The afternoon could be genuinely rewarding. So get out there, enjoy the fresh air, and put these tips to the test. Remember, friends, fishing isn't just about catching. It's about being out there, learning, and connecting with nature. Share your adventures with me. If you enjoyed this forecast, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more tips, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single update. And tell me in the comments below, what are your plans for fishing this December? Have you had any luck with pike or perch in cold weather? What's your go-to winter bait? I love hearing from you all. Until next time, tight lines, everyone, and may your nets be heavy. Ni eagal lifir, namararoim and befairge.